Peace. This is Wise from Wise Words Media, and we're gonna start something new, man. We're gonna chef up something new. We're gonna do Talk About It Tuesdays or Top 5 Tuesdays. So we're gonna either discuss something or we're gonna have a top 5, and you could drop a comment on the comment section. Let me know how you see things based on the topic, and we'll discuss it. Wide range of varieties of topics too, man. We're gonna go through sports, through athletes, boxing, hip-hop, sneakers, fashion, whatever. We just gonna do top 5s, and this is just gonna be a way to, I know these topics sometimes, from my experience in the cafeterias or in the schoolyards or in the hood, these things pick up quick. So we're gonna keep it respectful. Everybody's gonna, give their understanding, and y'all could come at me and come at each other, but let's do it respectfully. So boom, as you see on this title of this video, why The War Report is a top 5 album of all time. And I already went to war with a couple people based on this, but let me hear it. Let's go. So for a top 5, I'll give you the first 4. I have the greatest album of all time being Wu-Tang's 36 Chambers. It's from the production, the masterful production from RZA, from just the idea of getting all these brothers together to form one body like Voltron, and the lyrics, beats, everything. It's just 7, 8, 9 different minds on one project, different personalities. Like that in and of itself is one of the most unique and special albums you'll ever hear in your life. I think it's the greatest. Number 2, Illmatic. You got Nas. You got to think about it. Nas was only a child. We praise that album, how genius it is, and the supreme level of lyricism that's displayed on that album. But we gotta look at the making of it. He recorded it when he was about like 19, like 1920 or something like that. He was recording that album. So it took him about a year and a half of writing prior to that. So you're talking about somebody that was only like 17, 18, penning down these concepts, these thoughts. You have genius songs like One Love, where he's writing a letter to his man in jail, like stuff that never been done before. The lyricism on Whose World Is This? Like, man, it's just, that album was the first album that I said, man, not album, partner. He was the first artist that I said, I gotta support everything he does. Even though I'm currently on a strike, and I've been on a strike with Nas and Jay-Z, I'm not buying any more Nas and Jay-Z until they put DJ Premier on their album. Because DJ Premier gave y'all some free beats on Illmatic. He gave you free beats on Reasonable Doubt. And now, because y'all got to a certain level, because y'all trying to chase what the industry likes, y'all want to move away from the Primo sound. Nah, man, give that man his flowers, man. He gave y'all free beats, so put him on one album. Please, one beat, one song. Until then, I will not buy a Jay-Z or Nas album. But anyway, love Nas. My favorite artist of all time, between him and Half a Mil. But that'll be for another top 5. But yeah, he was a childhood prodigy. Everybody loved him, and he got a who's who. He had an all-star lineup of producers on it. He had DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Q-Tip, who's one of the dopest, most underrated producers ever. And speaking of that, Large Professor, who fits that same bill. So he had a dope team of producers to put that legendary, and it is the crown jewel of hip-hop. Illmatic is the crown jewel, universal consensus. Number 3 for me is an album that's so epic that it doesn't even go by its own name. It goes by its alias, and that's the Purple Tape. The Purple Tape also known as Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links, which co-host Ghostface Killer. That album is a masterpiece. It's a movie, right? It's a movie that you're listening to. So that joint is just from the videos, the classic videos, the songs. It's Wu-Tang's best solo album, and yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie that you're listening to. Number 4, I go with Mobb Deep's The Infamous. The Infamous is such an ill album because these two young brothers, they put out an album before, Havoc and Prodigy, and it didn't meet successful standards, so they went back to the drawing board and they said, you know what, let's just be us. This that we live every day, Queensbridge, the hood, let's just bring the hood over there. Let's just bring the hood to the world. Let's let the world hear the hood. And let's just give Queensbridge. That's what we're going to give. And that's what they gave, man. They gave us one of the dopest albums from the beginning, from start of your ending, all the way to Party's Over. Banger after banger. Eye for an Eye with Nas and Raekwon. The Give Up the Goods intro when Noid bodies that. Dope album from start to finish. And what's so ill too about that is that in their early days, Prodigy used to be known as the producer. He was the producer. And Havoc was more known to be the better lyricist. And with time, and these two brothers forged such an ill bond and brotherhood that their energy was transferable. Like, it was like P started to learn and feed off of Havoc when it came to the writing, and he stepped his writing game up. And Havoc started to learn and take in what P was doing with the production, and he stepped his game up. And what we ended up getting was Havoc instead of P. Havoc becoming the best, one of the best producers in history. And then instead of Havoc being the lyricist, P ends up being the lyricist, and he becomes, and not to say that Havoc's not a lyricist, Havoc be bodying tracks, but it's just that P is one of the greatest lyricists in history. So that's why he's just overshined so much and is known as the lyricist. But Havoc gets busy too. So the production on that album is, the samples that they took and flipped, amazing. I love Trife Life, living the Trife Life, making moves, and oh man, yo, then what's the name? When they flipped the Norman Connor sample, oh man, that album right there is special. But the subject here is that number 5, that crucial 5th, that always is controversial in any list. And for me, I'm ready to go to war. I got my sword sharp and ready to swing. The 5th best album of all time for me is The War Report by Capone and Noreaga. And here's why The War Report to me is not only one of the greatest albums, but it's the realest album you ever heard. The War Report, you had 2 young brothers in Noreaga and Capone who met in jail. And while they were new on the scene, they were being guided. They were under the tutelage of a veteran and a great lyricist in and of himself in Tragedy Gaddafi. Tragedy was also experienced because he was a part of the Juice Crew, the legendary Juice Crew, and he was known as the intelligent hoodlum. He was the young guy then, but now he grew to become the OG, and he was the older guard. He was the one giving them the knowledge and the wisdom in order for them to understand how to move in this game. So they also had a lot of weight on their shoulders because they came from, Traj and Capone are from Queensbridge. Nori's from Left Rack. But Nori's a Queensbridge affiliate due to the fact that, 2/3 of the group is from QB. So they're coming from a place with esteemed pedigree, who just gave us a place that just gave us Nas and Mobb Deep. Now Capone and Noreaga is up, and they did not drop the ball. These brothers gave you one of the realest albums, because while people are talking about certain things that they doing in the streets, and and people talk about, on albums, dudes is the Terminator, and they killing 50, 40, 100 people on wax, and they selling this, and they bucking at that. Yo, these dudes was really in the streets booming at people. These dudes was really in the streets hustling. And what also makes this album so unique is that one of the members, Capone, was actually on trial. And, he was going to court, and he blew trial, and he had to get locked. He got locked up. So he's locked up during this album. So he's actually gaining fame as he's locked up. So you have the famous skit, the famous phone time interludes, where Capone from jail is calling and talking to Nori and Nas and E-Money Bags, and he's calling his people from jail. Never before heard of, never before done. Noreaga said something that was so ill to me one time. He said, I didn't know you could be fake in hip hop. And when he said that, he was like, that's why I said things like, Black Steel and Shane, they monkey wrenched the whole game. So Black Steel and Shane are two cops that used to patrol his projects. So he was like, Black Steel and Shane, they monkey wrenched the whole game. So by them brothers, or those cops, those are vivid things that he was experiencing. So this is why it's called the War Report, because they were reporting live from the streets what was going on, what was taking place in their daily lives. And not only that, but one of the illest things that this album offers is these dudes, Capone and Noreaga, plus Mobb Deep, were the only ones to go at LA by name. LA came to New York and shot a video. New York, big city of dreams, and Red Hook, and then they got, CGI where Snoop's kicking down the buildings and they in Times Square. So Capone, Noreaga said word, and Tragedy, they all, the three of them came together, was like, word, all right, so you know what we gonna do? We're gonna start the video in Times Square with some dudes with LA hats. Go on YouTube, watch it. Them brothers got brothers with LA hats, and traging them. They snatch these LA dudes up, put them in the trunk, and they take them to the bridge. And yo, it's one of the illest videos. I love that video. And yeah, they were bucking shots. Yo, y'all want to boom at us? We gonna boom right back. They started bucking shots at, they said LA, big city of dreams. And while all your favorite rappers and our favorite rappers were quiet and taking the turn the other cheek route, these dudes was like, nah, we coming for y'all, man. Y'all call us out, we calling y'all out. So, plus there's a lot, that's one of the illest things. They represented New York and the East Coast, and they made it known that, y'all may have lyricists and real people over there, but we got the same over here on this side, and you're gonna be met with force. So, I always loved them for that. Plus the album, how you start an album with Peace Allah, Peace God, with a DJ Premier intro. DJ Premier intro, and the very first things you hear on the album is Peace Allah, Peace God. Yo, From the album intro, you got me. You got me from the album intro. Then, right after that, and there's plenty of 5% language throughout the album. And then to start the album with Blood Money, that beat, yo, man, I lay back, cognac, and I don't even drink like that. I sell crack. Young Raw Nori. Come on, man. Come on. My son Nori, yo, live long, live long. Come on, man. Guerrilla warfare. Tony. Come on, man. Capone bone for the ladies. Closer. Come on. Oh, what? Yo, hold on, man. What's the name? Dog Paradise? Nah, man. Nah. Y'all gotta convince me that this ain't a top 5 album. Top 5 ever. Yo, my man Traj said, yo, man, listen, man, that album is so ill. And plus, you know, congratulations to the War Report celebrating its 25th anniversary just a couple weeks ago. So, top 5 album of all time. And let me know what y'all think, man. What's y'all top 5? And, you know, let's kick it. Let's build, man. Hit the like button. Drop a comment. And let's build. Let me hear y'all top 5 albums. Put it in the comment section. Peace.